The woman was still asleep, but her body slowly started sliding down. Beneath her was 10,000 meters of empty sky. She sensed something was wrong, and woke up in an instant, but it was already too late. When she opened her eyes, she found herself hanging upside down at 10,000 meters. The rope had saved her life. Right then, she wished she could pass out, so she wouldn't have to face this terrifying sight. She tried calling for help from her partner in the basket, but the man had already passed out. In this life or death moment, she could only rely on herself. High above the ground, she started swinging her legs, using the force of her body, and managed to climb back into the basket. But the danger wasn't over. Her partner was unconscious. She had to save him fast. The hot air balloon was already at almost 13,000 meters. The vent valve was frozen solid, under a thick layer of ice and snow. It couldn't open. To stop the balloon from going higher, the woman decided to climb up and open it herself. Up here in the sky, with no safety gear, one wrong move and she would fall to her death. But to survive, there was no other choice. She looked up. The top was still so far away. Her hands were already frostbitten. She reached for the hanging rope beside her. Thankfully, she was still tied to it. The lack of oxygen made her want to close her eyes and just fall asleep. But in that instant, her survival instinct exploded. She tied the rope around her waist to keep from falling. Then she kept climbing. No one knows how long she climbed, but finally, she reached the top of the balloon. By now, she was completely exhausted. She slammed her elbow against the valve, but the ice was just too thick. She couldn't break it, so she slowly stood up and stomped on it with all her strength, again and again. Finally, the vent opened. The balloon started to descend slowly. Then, the woman noticed the snowflakes around her were falling in slow motion, almost frozen in the air. That meant the balloon was dropping faster. Then the snow was falling. They started throwing everything out of the basket. Anything with weight was tossed overboard. Even the small fan was thrown out. In the end, they even stripped off their clothes. But still, the descent didn't slow down. It got even faster. The man looked at the basket beneath his feet and decided to cut it loose. They climbed onto the metal ring above, and one by one, cut through the ropes holding the basket. But the speed barely changed. At the moment of despair, the woman was ready to sacrifice herself to give the man a chance to live. The man completely broke down and shouted for her to stop. He told her to hold onto the rope tight. Then he cut the tie at the mouth of the balloon. The balloon instantly collapsed, turning into the shape of a parachute. As a scientist, he proved that science really can change fate.